I don't know.
All right. All right. Tonight we have Brian Bodine. Brian is 22 years in addiction and a few years in recovery, the owner of Relentlessly Empowering Addicts' Lives. And we are opening our first recovery home, and a father of 4, and he likes to fish. So I'm really excited about the Relentlessly Empowering Addicts' Lives is Real Recovery Inc. And that's really, I know me and Brian had a conversation earlier today, a little bit about what that is, but I'm going to let him tell you guys all about it. So I really like to let you lead, and I take notes. I'll ask questions kind of as we go. I know we are in a little bit of a time crunch, but don't try to talk too fast. Like, we can really always do this again, like anytime.
Yep.
All right.
All right. I'm Brian, and I was in active addiction for 22 years. I'm only 43 years old, so I spent a lot of time out there, you know. I knew at a very young age, though, that I was different, you know what I mean? Because I in elementary school, you know, we sneak, you know, candy and chips and stuff like that in school, and I'm in there, you know, I'm selling I'm selling them. I'm selling pieces of gum and, you know, pencils and whatnot, you know. And unfortunately, I didn't really dibble and dabble in high school a lot. Like, I did, you know, a couple things here, a couple things there, but not much. And then my life sort of turned when I was my freshman year of college. So I went to Edinburgh University in Pennsylvania to play baseball. I ended up not having the grades to play baseball, so I couldn't play till the following year. Well, then they ended up suspending the program. And, you know, I went back home. I didn't have nowhere else to go. And I think through that process, like, all of my buddies, you know, they played football, wrestling, whatever. Only a couple of us made it out of here. And, you know, I mean, I really did a lot of soul searching on who I was. And I honestly believe that was, you know, my turning point when I was 18 years old, you know, because I was so used to having that brotherhood. I did football, baseball, wrestling from the time I was a kid. But over the time, and this is just, this is, reschedule this. Try internet, switch, restart. There's no. Yeah. Hold on. Okay, I can't hear anything. Here. I can't. Yo.
Okay. I said it was my
There we go.
Here, buddy, let me see it.
Oh.
Here. Okay. I was gonna ask though, that's what I was trying to do, is talking. I don't know what happened. It messed it all up. But what age do you think you start using drugs at?
The first time I ever used, I was like 14. I smoked some weed before a football practice, and I was pretty into drinking a little bit at a very young age. I had nothing but older brothers, so I ran around with older people until my brothers were gone. But then I didn't drink. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have anything. I'd say I definitely didn't smoke no weed after that. I see a dog that wasn't there in my backyard. But yeah, I did about 14, and then I didn't do it until I was 19. When I went to college, and I messed around a little bit there. Ended up meeting somebody out there that was from, he was from Cleveland, and so I instantly got introduced to selling drugs, man. And I tell a lot of people this, and Leanne and I were speaking on this earlier. Like, this isn't glorifying it. This is just, this was my life, and so it just, I thought I was doing something good, but in all reality, I just gained a lot more addictions over the time. It went from that, then it went to coke, then it went to drinking again, and it just snowballed until I don't know. I was lucky though. I only went to rehab twice. The second time I went to rehab, it was a long time apart. I went to a detox, and then I went there. And not saying I didn't need it in between, but the second time I went, and throughout that time, I just had gained more addictions. Like I literally told my wife, my kids, I said, hey, I'm gonna die of pills. You know what I mean? There was no doubt. 2007, I was in a car wreck, and that was the first time I ever took a pill. And I took pills after that for, I don't know, probably 10, 12 years. And then I went to, I did go to, and the whole time I'm selling drugs. Shit, it's a shit show. Because then it wasn't like I was selling to have money. I at the end, I started selling to, afford my fix. I made a lot of money, but I gave it all back. My family was suffering. My marriage was falling apart. I was never present for my two older kids. They seen things that, kids just shouldn't see, in my opinion, but back then it didn't matter, So that carried on for, I don't know, like I said, probably from 07 to, I don't know, 17, 18, somewhere in there, maybe 19, 20. But then I got off the pills, and I didn't touch pills for, I was 3-4 years, I think. I didn't touch any pills. And then when I went back, I started drinking again. On the 4th of July, we always had a big-ass party, and I'll never forget this. I was clean for years, and then I decided I wanted to drink a twisted tea. And guess what happened there? I drank a twisted tea for the next freaking 3 years. And that's just, that was my life. And then I got on the other shit for a while, heroin and shit like that. And I probably did that for 3 years. My wife found me numerous times laying in a puddle of black you know, shit coming out of my mouth. I don't know what it is because I wasn't there. You know, that was probably an overdose, you know. But so I continued on, and then this was like like I said, man, I had been doing this shit for so long, but I lost everything. You know, I lost everything. Well, I didn't lose it. I gave it all away. Let's clear that up. And then I was one of them people who was like, you know, it's not hard to make money if you want to do it illegally, you know. And so I ended up getting it during that clean time. Like I said, it was 3-4 years. I was good again. And then, you know, I started coaching baseball, started getting back into the things I like to do. And I got a really good job. And I thought I had it all figured out. Well, I did good for, you know, a few months, was doing good. And this whole time I'm on the run, by the way. I was on the run for 5 years for a stupid ass $150 fine. And it just, you know, and that's what I want to share with people. Like, that's how strong it is. That's why I'm really passionate about this, because as I get deeper into this story, like, I shouldn't be here. You know what I mean? But I don't ask questions no more. You know, you guys know who are on this platform that know me. You know, I finally accepted God into my life this year, and I still strayed out. You know, I still had to go to the right and the left a little bit here, a little bit there. But after the fentanyl use, and that was like 2020, 2019. So when I got that good job, let's go back there. 2018, roughly, I got a really good job. And I was managing baseball. I was doing good. And then the damn doctors thought it was a good idea to, you know, give me damn Adderall, right? And, well, my real problem was, you know, speed. Like, that was always my thing. You know what I mean? Even though I did pills forever, like, I would do pills and then I'd go freaking clean the house for 3 hours. You know what I mean? That type of shit. That was just like how it did me. And, you know, in this time, I'm not like, you know, I got my son sitting next to me, which is awesome, you know, because I didn't know how to be a dad. You know what I mean? Like, I really didn't, man. I didn't. And I'm not blaming anybody, right? I never wanted to be like my dad, right? Well, I turned out being that exact fucking person, you know, rather than my dad drank beer and went to fucking strip clubs, and I sold coke and went to strip clubs. Okay. That's the only difference, and did a lot of it too. And, you know, it was just, I didn't realize. And then I think my son was, I don't know, 9, 10 years old, 8 maybe. And I remember him coming up to me and saying, "Dad, why every time somebody comes here, they owe you money?" And I'm like, you know, I remember telling him, I'm like, "Oh, Daddy just lets people borrow money like we're fucking millionaires." You know what I mean? But that was that was probably a big point in my life. You know what I mean? Because I had to sit there and think about it. It wasn't good enough to, you know, keep me from going back out there. But you know, at least they talk about planting that seed, you know. And I went to get I went to, like, I was off of coke, off of everything, and I went to get coke off my buddy to one day, and well, supposedly he's supposed to be my guy, and he had already had this shit chopped up, and when it hit my nose, man, I'm telling you, I said, "What the fuck was that, man? I know it ain't no coke. I've done coke a long time. If it went from what I did to this is fucked up." So long story short, it was meth, and I don't know if that's probably one of the toughest drugs I've ever done. For whatever reason with me, I mean, I don't know. I did it. I did it for 15 days straight, and I only slept for 3 hours every 5 days. Okay. So I didn't, everybody thought I was fucking crazy, and I was. I mean, I had my neighbors. I'm just going to say this. I had my neighbors looking out their window like they're smoking crack, but really it was me. So I want to share this because I didn't know what this shit was. And if there's anybody on here that doesn't know what a psychosis is, I'm trying to tell you, it ain't a joke. I was being tortured by a 6-foot worm. And this ain't no bullshit. I was cutting the grass and I saw this big ass 6-foot worm go under the lawnmower. And it was history after that. It was actually the worst thing I've ever been through in my life. And I don't know if I've ever shared this with anybody as far as like open. Man, it was the scariest thing, you know? And all along, you know, everything I've done to my wife and fucking everything.
I just want to pop in real quick. Like I usually like to let people tell their stories, but I want to say psychosis is so fucking real. Like I've seen people like, and where now I've never had like a full on psychosis. I've seen a little stuff, you know what I mean? But like what you're talking, I have seen people that happen though.
Yeah.
I literally have a video of someone very close to me that I just popped up on my Google here recently. And I was like, what the fuck? Dead ass serious, like seeing shit.
No, yeah,
like,
it's real.
Yeah, and he like you could tell he if this was not a joke or a game or an act, like he full on like this was happening. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. It's definitely not a joke, and it's sad because you know what we're sitting there. Well, I'll say myself, like I kept going to my wife. I mean, I did some crazy shit. I look at it and laugh now. I mean, I cut my damn dog. I shaved them all because I thought we had ticks and all this crazy shit. Right? I got the neighbors looking at these fucking worms. I got work. Listen, I'll just tell you how deep I was in it. Listen to me. We could laugh about it today, right? 4 days straight. 4 days straight, my mother-in-law came to the house. I started cleaning the grill. It was a brand new grill. I started cleaning it at 5 in the morning. And I didn't stop till fucking 10, 11, 12 o'clock. And she's like, oh, you're still cleaning that grill? Yeah, this is cleanest grill in the city.
It was dirty. It was. I remember one day I was on. I don't know if you remember, like when bath salts was a thing, right? I did bath salts one time, and I was at my mom's house washing dishes, and I washed this fucking plate. It kept having spots on it, bro. I don't know where they kept coming from. Yeah. I swear, the same plate. My dad come in there like it was a good, hour probably. My dad's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I was like,
yeah, I prayed to God, man. I felt bad. Listen, it got to the point because, I mean, I could go on for an hour just talking about that because I was stuck in it for, I don't know, like a month. I think it was like a month. It was
just
2
to
weeks
be clear,
before.
too, this was not funny. Like, I know we're laughing about it, guys.
Oh, no.
Serious. Yeah, I just want to put that out there, for all the people. Like, this was very serious, man, like, very traumatic, I'm sure. Like, I know he, like, especially the psychosis. Like, oh, look, I'm backwards. The psychosis, like, that he's talking about, that's fucking scary, right? Like,
yeah, you see that shit, and nobody else does. That's what makes it scary. You know what I mean? Like, I went to doctors. I went to everybody that came by my house, and I lived on a corner house. I went to everybody. Oh, you see these worms? You see this? You see these parasites? Like, it's fucking great, right? I thought they tapped my house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was the scariest thing. I remember praying to God. I prayed to God in that time. I said, man, either fix this, fix this, take this goddamn worm out of my life because it's fucked, And then my wife and my kids, you got to remember, man, they're sitting there watching this shit, So anyhow, my wife ends up, I don't know how the hell she did it. She figured out what I was in, and she was like, you're going to have to go to the hospital. I said, well, I'm going to tell you right now, that ain't going to happen. I'm not going to no damn hospital. So anyhow, she ends up, I think she said she spent like $400 or $500, bunch of studying, put on vitamins, because when we do pills, we do this, we do that. Every one of those drugs pull out every nutrition that you have in your body. And then after that I did good for 6 months. I was one of them guys, man. Yeah, I didn't go to rehab, but I should have went 60 times, I'd get a couple months here, a couple months there. And then, and I was off of everything. And my last run, like this was when it got really, really. I like it just, man, I smoked crack one time for, I think it was 2 or 3 years. It was the hardest thing I ever done in my life. And one day I was in the basement and I was just tired because, you know, I'm a people person. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to be at home, but I also like to be around people. I like to be helping. I like to, you know, and honest to God truth, I didn't leave my basement in 8 months unless I was getting cracked. I didn't shave. I didn't do nothing. I didn't look in the mirror. I remember today. So in that process down there, you know what I mean? Like I was playing all these characters they talk about, you know, and it led me to a very, very dark place. The darkest place I've ever been. You know, I began and became very suicidal. You know what I mean? Like I would go from, and this isn't me either. Like I'm really not a violent person. I'd go from fucking 1 to 1,000,000 and nothing. I started just crazy shit. You know, I'd be in the basement. I'd be in the basement, and then I'd go upstairs and yell at my wife and tell her, I heard you and your mother talking shit about me. Da 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 da. So I went into another psychosis and didn't even know it.
Yeah, but I know like crack and coke are really bad for like, you know, they're really hard on you. That's what I was going to say. I know you said it was like the hardest time of your life. I can relate. Like crack was like my DOC. I got on heroin like because in the physical stuff, I kind of that took over my life because of the withdrawals. But like my crack addiction was the hardest, like the lowest I probably got in my opinion. You know.
Yeah. Well, it broke me mentally. See, I didn't have a problem with. Well, first off, I never did it. And you know, when I was in this shit too, it was like I understand the difference now, and I let people know. So I always had this way of running into the big dude. You know what I mean? Like the people I ended up, you know, like they were all pretty big. Like one, I mean, I'm not throwing nobody's shit out there, but my one guy's locked up for 20 years. You know what I mean? So they weren't fucking like little guys. You know what I mean? So I always ended up, you know, and when we're in that, we want that guy. You know, I did it with everything, from the pills. I don't know how it was just, and it's funny because back then I was like, hey man, God is really blessing me, right? He's doing a wonderful job for me. And you know, over the time, man, I'm actually, I'll say this, I'm actually embarrassed that I even said that because here's the reality of it. We have to understand God and the devil, right? The devil will bless you without a doubt. If this is why I don't chase the dollar bill anymore. Because if I chase the dollar bill, I know where I'm going. And it'll be right back to the streets. That's why I know that God's never blessed me with a lot of financial gain. And then the last two things, real quick, just to touch it up, and then we can always go back and do it again and get deeper in it. But the last two things, after I did the crack for a long time, one day I was this is when I should have paid attention. So I was doing that, and DMX song came on, Show Me a Sign, and I was about to take a hit, and something literally ripped that out of my hand. Okay, and you guys know what it is. Crack doesn't hit the ground and go to dust. I'm telling you right now, the pipe and the dust hit the ground, and that was it, right? And after that, I had 2 overdoses 6 months apart. Like I said, I was off of fentanyl and all that shit for years. I laid in a house for 8 hours, 9 hours overdose by myself. And I remember waking up in the morning and I went to get the phone so I could call my wife because I told her, you know, my crazy ass along the way of that addiction, my crazy ass you know, my wife didn't want to leave me. Like, she loved me, whatever. I would have left me a long fucking time ago, but she stuck it out. Well, you know, and this is shit I talk about because, you know, I feel like I was at the lows of the lows. We talk about them rock bottoms. I don't even know if I have a rock bottom because I had so many of them fucking things. You know, I got suicidal, and then I got so when I OD'd, or when I was smoking the crack the last run, I cut the fucking copper out of my own house. I robbed my own house. Put a ski mask on 80 fucking degrees, and I'm fucking walking out, and I hit my front door like, dude, you can take the mask off, and it's your TV, right? But this is what crack did to me. And I remember my wife coming in the house, and listen, anything I'm saying, you could ask my wife. I'll bring her out here. I remember her coming into the house, and she's like, oh, you know, you walk in the house, you make a left, it take you to my living room, take a right, it take you to the kitchen. And she said, as soon as she stepped in, she's like, oh, where'd the fucking TV go, right? And I said, you worried about the fucking TV? Go look in the kitchen. No stove, no refrigerator, no nothing. I said, don't worry about TV. We had 4 of them. I got rid of 6 of them. You know what I mean? Like, that was just the way it was. And, yeah, man, that led me to overdosing. You know, somebody asked me to get him something, and I'm not blaming him because that was another addiction I had, was fast money. And like I said, man, I laid in that house for I don't know, 8-9 hours. And when I went to the hospital, well, when they came, you know, I don't know. I don't remember any of it. I guess my wife said they hit me with Narcan like 10 times. I know it wasn't good when that shit started coming back up, but I woke up in the hospital and I looked over at my wife, and you know, like you know, like the old cartoons. You know the old cartoons when, like Tom and Jerry, when he smacks them in the head and you just get the ringer.
Yeah,
That's what her voice sounded like when I looked over and said, "Hey, what happened?" And she was like, "You OD." Well, it was so bad, bro. It was sick. And they told my wife they didn't know if they want to life flight me or if I'm gonna live or anything. And they put me straight in ICU over the time. And another God moment, man. I was in there. I didn't eat. They put that thing up my wiener, like the whole 9, man. It sucked. Well, my mother-in-law and my wife came in there. I was in there 4 or 5 days, didn't eat anything, couldn't go to the bathroom. I don't even really remember it, to be honest. And I do remember my wife and them coming there after she worked 12 hours. She stopped by to see me. And my mother-in-law, man, still to this day, it gives me chills, man, because she laid hands on me and it was crazy. I got up that night at midnight and told the nurse, take this thing out of me. I want to walk. My leg, that rhabdo kicked in when your muscles and everything break down. So I had it pretty bad, like I said, I thought. And here I am today with no brain damage, no nothing. And I also had an overdose, right? I told you this, Leanne, earlier. Yeah, man, right here in this spot I'm sitting. September 3rd of 23. And they told me that, well, they didn't tell me shit because I couldn't hear them. But they told my wife and them that I probably wasn't going to make it. And right before we got to the hospital, somehow, some way, you know, God woke me up again, right? And, you know, you think sooner or later this shit got to be enough. You know, sooner or later it's got to be enough. But that was really the end of it for me as far as like that shit. That happened, and then I decided to get in a car, and I went 6 hours away from home, and I tried this thing called recovery, and it's worked. I stayed out. I went to a place out eastern Pennsylvania called Quakertown Pyramid. Oh, the guy from Jackass, Brandon Novak, is who was contacted, and he got a car here. And, you know, I took the leap of faith, and, man, I'm glad I did.
Hell yeah.
Stayed in sober living for a year, and now here we are. I mean, I've been home a year, I think, year and a half. So my kids, and by the way, though, this is where that hope shot comes in. You know, my kids and everybody, they didn't have nothing to do with Brian when I went, and over time of me just doing, you know, it's not really I don't say a whole lot. I just have to do, you know what I mean? And I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. I don't believe perfect exists. I still mess up, but you know, my life's a hell of a lot better today than it was. I'm not smoking crack. I'm not doing heroin. And I feel like I'm doing all right, you know?
Fuck yeah.
I can have a conversation, but you know, rather than that, I'm good, man. That's a quick recap of it. It's a lot more jokes in there too, believe me.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to have you back. This was really fun. Like, I love when we can laugh. I love people that kind of like to laugh at ourselves. And again, never glamorizing it, guys, but it's fucking funny. To me, I laugh at myself, and I like to think of how fucking stupid I was, because I never want to do that again. So
yeah.
Hi, Cassie.
Yeah, keep it fresh.
Yeah, and Dan from TikTok, he said he lives in Quakertown.
Okay.
That's
okay.
cool.
I don't know.
Do you still live there now or no?
Who,
no,
me?
you moved back home, yeah.
No, yeah, no, I came back home. Oh, there's so much more. There's so much funny in there, bro. So
yeah.
I don't know, you know me. I laugh when it hurts. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's how I get through it.
Yeah, I have to get to the TikTok live. It was supposed to start at 7, but some of them are already here watching. But definitely we will have you back for a part 2, because I have questions. I took notes. I've got questions. So we will do part 2.
All right.
All
Whenever
right.
you want, I'm available. Thank you, honey.
Thank you
Have a great night.
much. You too.
All right.